The Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy may have defeated the mighty Thanos, but if there's one thing we've learned in Phase 4, it's that the MCU still has plenty of bad guys to go around. We're about to meet another major villain in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, a sequel which introduces Chukwudi Iwuji's character, the High Evolutionary. Now that the first Guardians Volume 3 trailer has arrived, let's take a closer look at this long-standing Marvel villain and the strange planet known as Counter-Earth, and learn why he could play a key role in the MCU's Multiverse saga.
Come on, Drax. Seriously, dude?
No! Ow!
Pretty much everything you need to know about the High Evolutionary is right there in the name. Basically, the Dr. Moreau of the Marvel Universe, the High Evolutionary is a brilliant geneticist who's obsessed with advancing the human race at all costs. His unholy super science has given rise to a new breed of human-animal hybrids known as new men, along with all sorts of other twisted science experiments. And since his original debut in 1966's The Mighty Thor number 134, the High Evolutionary has spent decades tinkering with his own DNA to boost his intelligence and gain all sorts of powers like super strength, matter and energy manipulation, and precognition. If that weren't enough, his fancy exoskeleton suit makes him practically immortal. The High Evolutionary is a classic Marvel villain in the sense that he doesn't see himself as the villain at all. He's a once ordinary mortal who has used super science to become one of the most powerful beings in the universe. He's seen the true scope of humanity's genetic potential, and he's hell-bent on helping them achieve it, whether they like it or not.
He's a guy that believes he's doing the best thing for humanity as a whole, and he's warped in what he's ready to do, like all sociopaths are. They actually think what they're doing is for the greater good, whether they're good or the good of the universe in his case.
In the comics, the High Evolutionary started out as a human scientist named Herbert Edgar Wyndham. As a college student, Wyndham was inspired by the work of fellow geneticist Nathaniel Essex, better known as Mr. Sinister, and decided to become a mad science supervillain too. That said, we don't know whether this origin story will carry over to the MCU or if the High Evolutionary will even be depicted as human in Guardians Volume 3. It's worth remembering that these movies have already reworked characters like Drax and Mantis to become aliens rather than evolved humans, so the same could be true for Wyndham. The first Guardians Volume 3 trailer opens with the team making another trip to Earth, following up on Drax and Mantis' last field trip in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. However, something is clearly wrong with this world, and it quickly becomes clear the Guardians aren't on Earth at all, but Counter-Earth. Counter-Earth is the High Evolutionary's other signature creation. The artificial replica of Earth is meant to be a paradise where Wyndham can pursue his unholy experiments, free from the prying eyes and pesky morals of humanity. Counter-Earth is an almost exact mirror of the regular Earth. It even orbits on the exact opposite side of the sun. The twist is that time moves very differently on Counter-Earth, allowing Wyndham to speed up his evolutionary experiments. This is also where Will Poulter's character, Adam Warlock, comes in. In the comics, the High Evolutionary uses the Soul Stone to help build his new world. After Counter-Earth becomes corrupted by the Man-Beast, one of Wyndham's rogue experiments, the High Evolutionary bestows the Soul Stone onto Adam Warlock and tasks him with liberating Counter-Earth. Guardians Volume 2 teased the debut of Adam Warlock, and it's probably safe to assume this cosmic messiah is closely tied to the High Evolutionary in the MCU. He may even have been created by Wyndham for Aisha and the Sovereign, but again, we'll see just how much of the source material makes the jump to the big screen. And don't forget that the Soul Stone was already destroyed along with the rest of the Infinity Stones in Avengers Endgame. Guardians Volume 3 may have to do some serious tinkering where Adam Warlock is concerned. Like we said, while the High Evolutionary started out his comic book career as a Thor villain, there are few corners of the Marvel U where he hasn't been involved over the decades. He even fought Galactus once, when the Devourer of Worlds decided Counter-Earth would make for a tasty snack. Director James Gunn has confirmed there's a pivotal connection between the High Evolutionary and Rocket Raccoon in the MCU, which suggests that Rocket will be revealed to be one of Wyndham's many mad science creations.
He's a big part of Rocket's early life, and you'll see that in the movie.
Rocket definitely has some major baggage regarding his origins, so don't expect this reunion to be a happy one in Guardians Volume 3.
I'm done running.
Outside the Guardians franchise, the High Evolutionary is probably best known for his connection to various mutant characters. We already mentioned how he got his start basically copying Mr. Sinister's work, but this villain has had countless run-ins with the X-Men over the years. He even threw his hat in the ring when Beast recruited a group of supervillains to help restore the mutant race following the catastrophic events of House of M. Speaking of which, the High Evolutionary is closely connected to the main antagonist of House of M, Scarlet Witch. Mount Wundagore, which we previously saw in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, was originally Wyndham's base of operations before he packed up and left for Counter-Earth. Some of his creations still haunt its peaks and valleys even now. When last we saw Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch, she was seemingly crushed to death on Wundagore after destroying the Darkhold. But, come on, we all know she'll be back. And when she returns, we may learn the High Evolutionary had a hand in transforming Wanda into the Scarlet Witch. While Wanda and her brother were once depicted as mutants in the comics, their origin has since been reworked to more closely align with the events of the MCU. We now know Wyndham experimented upon them as children. A combination of his super science and the dark magic of Chthon transformed Wanda into one of the most powerful and dangerous beings in the universe. If Marvel ends up greenlighting a Scarlet Witch movie or series, you can bet the High Evolutionary will be along for the ride. And that's what you need to know about the main villain of Guardians Volume 3. Are you excited for the High Evolutionary to make his MCU debut? How do you think Adam Warlock fits in? Let us know your theories in the comments, and make sure you like and subscribe to IGN for plenty more on the future of the MCU.